Good evening. I'm Brad Buchanan. I'm the Executive Director with Denver's Community Planning and Development. And tonight is a celebration of Denver's best architecture, design, and placemaking. Thank you so much for joining us and for all that you do to advance placemaking in our built environment. I don't have to tell most of you what an exciting time it is in Denver right now, very active. You know, because you are the ones out there doing the great work of designing and building great built solutions. You're restoring and preserving our historic sites. You're activating our public spaces and doing all the other things that bring so many new people, so much activity and vitality to our community. You're changing the game in terms of design and in terms of the kinds of strategic and creative investments that can transform our streets, our urban places, and our neighborhoods. But the 16 projects tonight that we're honoring, your projects, are not just the cream of the crop. They're in fact the tip of a big iceberg. In September alone, our staff in development services issued more than 9,000 building permits, shattering the previous record of permits issued in 1 month by more than 1,000. It was a very busy month. We have implemented new permitting software, added staff, and streamlined processes to keep up with the pace of construction in Denver that shows little evidence of slowing down. On the planning side of community planning and development, we're working just as hard to stay ahead of the curve, creating plans and regulatory tools that will pave the way for smart, careful design across our city. For example, earlier this year we completed the National Western Center Master Plan along with the Globeville Neighborhood Plan and the Swansea-Elyria Neighborhood Plan. These plans lay out transformational visions for an underserved area of our city that represents so much of where we've come from and so much of our history and rich tradition. In Westwood, we're working with neighborhood residents and business owners to set the stage that will grow Westwood and thrive in a way that honors its rich, diverse history and community. Planners are also working with neighborhood leaders to develop new zoning and design standards and guidelines for Arapahoe Square, downtown's next great neighborhood. Those design standards and guidelines will then support a design review process, helping to raise the bar for all design and built solutions in Arapahoe Square. Transit-oriented development is on the horizon for I-25 and Broadway Station area in our Station Area Plan, a site that represents one of Denver's greatest transit-oriented development opportunities outside of Union Station. Also underway is a project to study and activate the 16th Street Mall. Our goal there is to look at mall activity and identify ways to help the backbone of our downtown reach its full potential as a welcoming place for everyone, and strengthening the ribs, the cross connections of the mall to our neighborhoods and to our other assets like the Auraria campus. And last but certainly not least is the upcoming update to Blueprint Denver, our integrated land use and transportation plan for our entire city. City leaders who had a vision for Denver 20 years ago created Blueprint Denver, thinking about today, and it's been incredibly successful. Areas of change have seen between 5-to-1 and 15-to-1 more development than our areas of stability. That was guidance that happened in Blueprint Denver and has been implemented through our zoning and our new zoning code that was adopted in 2010. It has served us quite well, but it's time to update that plan, and as we look to the future and think about what Denver will be over the next 20 years. In 2016, we'll kickstart the conversation about how to update Blueprint Denver, as well as Denver's citywide parks, updating the game plan, the transit and pedestrian plans, along with Denver's multimodal access plan for downtown. Over the next 24 months, we are literally going to experience an historic opportunity to work through a collaborative and coordinated planning effort that will touch all of our city. I hope that you will join us in that conversation because these are your plans. They're not my plans, they're not our planners' plans, they're your plans. Our job is to inform and help facilitate the best planning conversations so that we end up with the regulations and implementation that is truly your vision. So as I said, this has been it is a very exciting time for our city. We're lucky to be here in Denver at a time when the work that we all do can have such an impact on our community. So many of the opportunities and challenges that we are facing as a city can be conquered if we plan well, if we build well, and when we execute great design. Your projects are examples of the awesome things that happen when we start with great design. Thank you for your investment, your effort, your passion, your commitment, and your creativity. Tonight is about celebrating all of that work, and here to help us lead that is our great Mayor Michael Hancock and my visionary boss. Welcome, Mayor.
Since his appointment, Brad has done just an absolutely outstanding job in leading the community planning development department and really helping this city weather what has been not just record-breaking, just absolutely unprecedented anywhere levels around the kind of activity and permits that he is seeing, his team is seeing, and his leadership has been enormous to make sure that we don't build a church for Easter, that we don't overindulge in hiring. We're bringing in a lot of people, but we want to make sure we measure it, and that we recognize that indeed this is a historic time, but we also understand that like the economies of past, we will at some point we'll have that leveling off occur, and Brad is managing that, while at the same time managing the expectations and needs of the community. So thank you, Brad, to you and your team. Let me acknowledge, I see the presence of a couple members of City Council. Councilman Flynn is here as well, and I don't know if Councilman Brooks walked in, but would you join me in thanking Denver City Council for their leadership? Thank you for being here, Councilman Flynn. And I see one member of my cabinet besides Brad, but Scott Gilmore, our Director of Parks, is here as well. Thank you for being here, Scotty. CBD is meeting the challenges of the city head-on, addressing both needs of the city as a whole as well as the unique needs of the neighborhoods around the city of Denver, creating building blocks for the city that is proud of where it comes from and where it is going. This is really a very special time in the life of our city. Looking through the nominees, it was easy to see the pride that we all feel in our city. What was not so easy was narrowing down the list of the winners. And I get a chance to play a role in that. And I gotta tell you, this was the hardest year I've had. And I gotta tell you, every year, the nominations and the challenge of getting down to the winners gets harder, and this year was absolutely no exception. Among the winners, we have historic structures, more than 100 years old, and brand new developments that are sure to stand for at least 100 years to come. We have community projects driven by neighborhood pride and multi-million-dollar investments reflective of Denver's thriving economy. We have a 600 square foot house and a development offering more than 300,000 square feet of space for multiple uses. We have 12 buildings and 4 placemaking projects, 7 old buildings that were preserved and enhanced, and 5 new builds. We have private residences, local businesses, old buildings, office buildings, and restaurants. In short, these 16 projects, we have a little of everything that makes Denver, Denver: history, creativity, vitality, and community. So I want to thank you all. I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for your investment in our city. I want to thank you for your commitment to doing such beautiful work to improve, as Brad says, our urban landscape. Before we start, we have just a few acknowledgments that we must always take care of. First of all, I want to congratulate, and this is just kind of the thing that we do in the city with city council and city council districts. Council District number 9, represented by City Councilman Brooks. This district is actually home to 8 of the honorees tonight, half of the awardees. We also want to thank our sponsors tonight, without whom we would not be here. Our event sponsors, of course, continues to be the great organization, the Denver chapter of the American Institute of Architects, which has been a supporter of this event for many years. This year, we also have a media sponsor, Colorado Homes and Lifestyles, and we want to just simply thank you for your coverage of tonight's event. Would you join me in thanking our sponsors? So, I don't know if you know it or not, but we had a pool of 46 eligible nominees. So you understand again how this was such a difficult and challenging task. But we could not have done it without the input, without the expertise and leadership of our selection committee, many of who are here tonight. And I just want to acknowledge them. And if you're here, I'm going to ask you to stand up when I read your name. Tim Burst, of Builder Associates Architects and an active member of the Highland United Neighbors Organization. Tim, are you here? Brianna Boren. Thank you, Tim, for being here. Keep standing. We want them to see your pretty face. That was quick. Brianna Bourne of Snooze AM Eatery in City Build, my favorite pancake spot. Right on. Thanks, Snooze. You didn't have the brain, the upside down pineapple cinnamon pancakes. Okay. Just thought I'd ask, Brianna. Thank you. John P. Olson of Historic Denver. John, thank you. There he is. Thank you. And Peter Park, of course. Where is Peter? Is he here? Give it up for Peter Park of Park City Planning Design and former manager of CPD. We want to thank you all again for your support and help during the selection process. I also want to thank Denver Arts and Venues and the Denver Performing Arts Complex for hosting us once again, and all the staff. And there was a tremendous amount of input from the staff at CPD, and it's not in the script, but I'm going to ask the staff of CPD to please stand. Wave your hand if you're in the room. All the CPD, stand up. Thank you. They're over there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so we have 16 winners in 5 categories in honor tonight. Brad, you ready to get this started? Are you ready to get this started? Yeah. All right, let's get it started. First category, Back to the Future. We'll start. I'm going to hold this. We'll start with Back to the Future, which honors the preservation and adaptive reuse of historic buildings. This was by far the most popular category for entries this year, with 15 nominees. We talk a lot about building a sustainable city, and as our Landmark Preservation Commission will tell you, the greenest building is one that's already built. So it's exciting to see so many projects out there taking that approach to heart and giving new life to buildings that have already stood the test of time. Bradford Real Estate Office. Our first winner is Bradford Real Estate Office at 2956 East 32nd Avenue. This Craftsman-style bungalow is one of several buildings we are honoring tonight that might not be standing at all today if not for the vision of the owner to make it new again. Others might have seen a blank slate on a coveted spot in a popular neighborhood. Owner Brad Lewis and his wife saw potential and an opportunity to strengthen the brand of their real estate business. Architect Kevin Anderson of Arc West Architects and builders Barbara Baker and Jonathan Austin did a first-class job in preserving the exterior while adding modern amenities, ADA accessibility, a solar array, and an electric vehicle charging station. The office is at home on this commercial corner of West 32nd and remains a link to the neighborhood's character and history. Here to accept the award are Brad Lewis, Kevin Anderson, Barbara Baker, and Jonathan Austin. Come on down, our first honoree tonight. Our next winner is Colorado Ballet's Armstrong Center for Dance. For this project, Colorado Ballet wanted a location that was close to downtown and that was easily accessible for visitors, students, and company members. It took vision and effort to work with the contextual building rather than tear it down and start from scratch. The year-long renovation transformed the nondescript warehouse space into a state-of-the-art facility and transformed the north end of the Santa Fe Arts District in the process. Santa Fe has been a bustling arts center and a visually distinctive corridor for a long time. Architect Semple Brown Design and builder CMC Group delivered a dramatic addition to the street and the neighborhood. And the presence of the Colorado Ballet and its program truly cements the district's place as one of the city's cultural hubs. Here with us to accept the award on behalf of the Colorado Ballet is Creative Director Gil Boggs. Come on up. All right. Congratulations. Got it? All right, congratulations. Thank you. On to the next winner, the Moffett Depot at Balfour at Riverfront Park. This project is one of 2 designated Denver landmarks among tonight's winners. It's probably thanks to that designation that this building is still standing and now part of an outstanding new development. Anyone who drove down 15th Street in Lodo in the years before the completion of Balfour at Riverfront Park could see the Moffett Depot sitting vacant and vandalized. Maybe you wonder if someone ever going to do something with that thing. The answer, luckily, is yes, and it's done. With the guidance from the Landmark Preservation Commission and black and white photos of the original building, Clip Architects and J.E. Dunn Construction did an outstanding job. The building was cleaned, restored, and successfully integrated into the larger development as a unique and treasured amenity. Here to accept the award are Balfour Senior Living founder and CEO Michael Schunbrunn and co-founder Susan Giroux.
Very briefly.
So we just discovered we were supposed to let the honoree say something. So, so to the previous awardees, we're sorry. But from this point forward, don't let them speak. You want to thank everybody? Thank you very much.
This has been a labor of love for more than 10 years from the start. We weathered the Great Recession, changes in our institutional equity partner, and some concern on the part of neighbors who were losing a beloved dog park. But we were very much entranced by the Moffett building. David Moffett is truly one of the great pioneers and founders of Denver, and it was a great honor to give him this homage, and also to show that seniors can live in a vital 24-hour city like Denver and enjoy all the great amenities that Denver provides. And this really is a landmark project because it represents one of the very few, but we think the start of a trend of senior living communities in urban centers. So thank you very much for all of the votes, and we look forward to the rest of the program.
Thank you. All right, next up we have the Worst Coca Restaurant at 2036 Broadway. This is a project that the selection committee called a pioneer. Every great neighborhood or street in Denver gets to be that way because someone looks at it and says, this would be a cool place to live, or this is a great place for a restaurant. And that's what this project is doing for this end of Broadway. Owners Joseph Pizzruzzelli and Tyler Joel Wilson wanted to create authentic modern gathering place to eat gourmet sausages and drink beer. Architect Tara Morris of Gouret and Tara Morris Associates made that vision work with an exciting building that wasn't going to win any awards before they took it on. Spectrum General Contractors built the project, and now this block is not just a blank wall, just the place to be. To accept the award, here is owner Joseph Pizzruzzelli.
Well, thank you. This is awesome. We're super excited to have the project finally finished. We packed as many unpronounceable words into a presentation as possible. It was definitely a challenge, and as Denver is exploding in its construction growth, to find the right people and the team to do this, it was a challenge, and I know that my unwavering sort of quest for perfectionism definitely drove a couple people crazy in it. And after we lost half the back wall and evacuated the whole block because of tearing up the gas main, I was definitely starting to second guess this legalization of marijuana here in Denver. But that said, Spectrum General Contractors was a great partner to have in the end, and they were not responsible for those other things. They were the second contractor, but really were able to take it through fruition and give us a product that we're really happy with and that's got great, beautiful details. And I hope to see all of you there for some beer and sausage at some point. So, thank you.
All right. Now, I'm a big fan of the next winner, Industry at 3001 Brighton Boulevard. This repurposed warehouse is a monument to creativity, not just for its design, but for what goes on inside. Now, few people would consider a warehouse a historic building worth preserving. In Industry, though, we have a project that totally reimagines what a warehouse can be and the kind of activity and excitement it can add to a neighborhood. Many of the massive industrial buildings that define Brighton Boulevard are for so long are on their way out. Did y'all hear that? They're on their way out. But this is one in both a nod to the past and a marker to all of the great things that are coming to this booming part of town. Industry co-founders, Jason and Ellen Winkler, work with architect Ed Inc. of S-Arc and Builder Makers Line, Zach Kessler and Bart Van Prague for the project. So let's welcome them all to the stage. Jason Winkler, Ellen Winkler, and Ed Inc.
So I was kind of excited when people weren't speaking, but really quickly, because I was told that one of us would have to speak. These two never want to talk, so it's always up to me. Oh,
I'll talk. Okay.
I'll cover it for you.
They're good.
There you go. Will the whole industry team please stand up? We got a bunch of us here tonight. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. So I'm just the guy that had to take everybody's vision. Ellen's design ideas, Jason's people making, just amazing, and Josh and those guys, and the spreadsheets from Doug, and all the leasing requirements from Beatty, and building management people from Brooke. I'm just the guy that had to put them all on paper, get them through the city, and make sure they all got done. So the secret to the success, you're looking at it, the team. Wonderful collaboration. Thank you for the award, Mayor, Brad, most appreciated. Thank you all.
Our next category, This Home, which honors single-family residential projects. Winners in this category are often new builds that make, for outstanding contributions to their neighborhoods. This year, however, we have two structures that have seen the city grow around them for more than 125 years. The first of these is the Gulliver Lynch House at 227 South Lincoln Street. This beautiful Queen Anne-style home was originally designed by William Lane. It was built back in 1890, but thanks to a careful restoration, it wears those 125 years well. Owners Nita Lynch and Terry Gulliver knew the treasure they had on their hands when they bought this house. So they worked with the city's landmark preservation staff to designate it as an official historic landmark and ensure it will continue to stand as beautifully and sturdily as it does now. The restoration is the work of renovation designer Mike P. Brownson and architect Sin Space LLC and Tim Morgan. Here to accept the award, please welcome Nita Lynch, Terry Gulliver, and Mike Brownson.
this was quite the labor of love for me. I don't do this for a living. This was a hobby. So I actually do in-building wireless designs for a living. So, but several years ago, during the depths of the housing recession, there were several houses that I was concerned for, and I saw the opportunity in them. And I love Victorian age homes. I actually have a house outside of Denver you'd swear it was a 100-year-old home, but it's brand new, that my wife and I built. So that's the sort of love I have. But I want to thank in particular, of course, Nita and Terry have been great on the property. I mean, they love the place, and I couldn't ask for better homeowners than these two have been. Larry here, he's the contractor, my construction foreman. He kind of led the restoration on this project. And I would like to thank TKH Realty for nominating the property. So thank you very much.
The second winner in this, in the home, this is home category, is the Curtis Park Garden Cottage at 2857 Stout Street. This lovely 600 square foot home may be modest in size, but is among the oldest buildings in the city. It was built before Denver began to require that new buildings be made of brick in the early 1860s. The small footprint serves as a link to the modest mining and railroad town from which our city emerged, but is hardly obsolete. Seeing so many new large houses coming up in the Curtis Park neighborhood, owner Keith Pryor felt compelled to do something about housing affordability and to show that it was possible to save a smaller, more inexpensive home. This is an issue that we in the city are committed to addressing. So it's exciting and encouraging for us to see residents take on projects like this that don't create opportunities, that don't just create opportunities for affordable housing, but really improve the neighborhood as well. He did the renovation himself with co-owner John Hayden, and it's great work, don't you think? It's a gorgeous little home. They are both here to accept the award, so please welcome Keith Pryor and John Hayden.
So we were really hoping that there would be a before picture because some of you in the Curtis Park area, or even knowing in historic Denver, might know the name of Bill West. And Curtis Park has a number of landmark districts. And when we were doing this landmark district, even Bill felt that this house was not salvageable and actually listed it as a non-contributing structure in the landmark district. Needless to say, when I saw it and it became available on the market, I immediately said we need to purchase this home and actually bring it back to the glory that it once had. We have pictures of this house pre-flagstone. It had a boardwalk in front of it. On this same block is a great set of vernacular smaller homes, one of which in the picture there was a gentleman on the roof putting the original tin roof on the house, which actually was still on it up to about 1 year ago, which it got a new asphalt shingle roof. So this block in particular is a great testament to the economic diversity of Curtis Park. This 600 square foot house sits within a stone's throw of one of our largest mansions, which is over 5,000 square feet. And so that economic diversity needs to be kept in the city, and luckily in Curtis Park it will be there because we've worked diligently on our historic preservation plan. So thank you, Mayor, for recognizing affordable housing.
Next category is building well, living well. Art in transit. Building well, living well. This category honors projects that use good design to promote community health through active living, access to healthy food, transit, and walkability. And that description is the next project in a nutshell. Art in Transit was an initiative of the West Colfax Business Improvement District to improve infrastructure, create a public identity for the corridor, inspire investment, and address health issues in the community. The bid brought together a team consisted of Emmett Culligan, Metalworks, Tom Rogers, D. Manton, Reiser, Mark Arlies, Hyperform Design, Co-op, and Gordon Signs to design and build signs and bus shelters that would accomplish all of these goals. You can see the results along West Colfax from the 3800 block to the 5200 block. The project took inspiration from the colorful antique signs Colfax is well known for, once again tying the past to the future. Here from the West Colfax bid is Director Dan Shaw with Emmett Culligan and Mark Leask. Come on up, winners.
So just want to say a few words of thanks. This was another really challenging project, which wouldn't have been possible without an incredible team bringing together really diverse skills, talents, and also agencies from Office of Economic Development and the City of Denver to RTD, which was really who was instrumental in making these bus shelters possible. So anyway, thank you very much to all of those people. Angie Malpiede at RTD in particular to get these shelters through a board vote, which was another challenge that we had, and so really instrumental in making, bringing sort of a pedestrian-oriented revision, transit, pleasant place for West Colfax. So big change for West Colfax, and really appreciate the award. Very exciting for us. Thank you.
Next category is density by design. And the first honoree will be 16M. These projects are multifamily, commercial, and mixed-use developments that balance the need of our urban environment with the charm and character that draws so many to our city. There are two winners in the category tonight. The first is a building that fits in so well in the 16th Street Mall. It's hard to believe it wasn't always there. At the intersection of the mall and Market Street, 16M is a modern marble design to be at home in the historic context of the lower downtown historic district. But beyond its visual impact, 16M completely changes the feel of the public space around the building. It's a great improvement over the single-use retail chain that presented nothing but a big blank wall on the other side, otherwise busy spots on 16th or Market Street. You all remember the Office Depot? That's the one we're talking about. Now we have a dynamic mix of uses and activity that we can all look at and look in and feel connected to from the sidewalk. Designed by Gensler and built by Melinda White, construction 16M represents all the great things we want and expect in our downtown. 16M is owned by LaSalle Property Fund and managed by Jones Lang LaSalle Property Management. Here to accept the award are Gensler Principal Brent Mather and Kelly Lynn, General Manager of Jones Lang LaSalle. Come on down.
Hello, my name is Brett Mather with Gensler, and I want to thank the mayor and his team for this very special award. And I say it's special because most of the awards we win are architects giving other architects awards. So this is particularly meaningful. Thank you, Mayor. And I think what makes this particularly special is because it's not only building design, but how a project enhances the public realm as well as contributes to the community of our great city. And for me, this project was particularly meaningful because of its complexity and dynamic nature, and now we're getting to witness its tremendous impact on the fabric of our city. And for me personally, I'm a firm believer that all great work and great buildings are the result of great clients. So I want to thank Brent Farber, who's here today with the Elevation Development Group, as well as Bruce and Jordan Dyfik with Integrated Properties for entrusting Gensler and our team to deliver this wonderful project. Thank you.
Next winner, My Block Wash Park. The detail that struck me most about this 107-unit development is that you can't tell there are 107 units in the building. One of the reasons for this is that the balconies, such a common feature in multifamily developments, have disappeared. Instead, my block creates a community within the building that shares amenities that are normally divided by unit, outdoor space in particular. The landscape terrace of the roof offers open up new design possibilities that help meet the challenge of fitting in on an edge. I am not reading this very well at all. We're going to try this one more time because I've been to this building and this is a gorgeous thing for you to see. The landscape terrace on the roof offers open up new design possibilities that help meet the challenge of fitting in on an edge where residential commercial settings meet. This building owned by My Residential truly stands apart and is a great addition to Spear Boulevard. My block, Wash Park, is the work of Shearer, Atkins, Rockmore Architects, and Shaw Construction. Here to accept the award is Dean Smith of Shears, Atkins, Rockmore. Come on down.
Thank you both. The Sepik family, our client for this project, isn't able to be here tonight, but Christina Roth, Scott Sepik, and their father Jim Sepik had a big impact on the design of this building in that they had a very different vision than most multifamily projects that are happening in the city right now, and that they didn't want it to look like so many others. And it was really refreshing to have that drive that they impacted really on the entire design team that brought us to this result. Bill Bowen and the rest of the team at Studio Insight was a huge part of the success of the project, and as the mayor said, Shaw Construction, they were a big part of it too. The one other thing I'd like to say, I guess, is that there's been a lot of conversation in the city lately, and Brad certainly has heard parts of this conversation about there's a lot of criticism about five-story multifamily projects in particular, that they're all starting to look a lot alike. And I just want to take this opportunity to encourage the design teams, development teams to work together to find creative solutions that aren't just the formulaic solutions that we see so often in multifamily. I mean, it can be formulaic, they just don't have to be the same formula. So I think that kind of diversity in this market can really be an asset in enriching our city. So thank you.
Next category, neighborhood gem. Denver is made up of great neighborhoods, and we all know that. We also know that Denver residents take great pride in their neighborhoods. That's part of what has made Denver Days, the initiative that I started to get more people involved in their community, such a major success. We wanted these awards to reflect a neighborhood pride too, and good neighborhood organizations involved. So we created a category that would draw out projects that really spoke to what neighbors loved about their communities and what makes them unique. We had a great response and ended up with 4 winners that I hope will just be the first in a long line of neighborhood gems that we'll honor long into the future. Our first neighborhood gem is Izakawa Den, a Japanese gastropub at 1487A South Pearl Street. The South Pearl Business District has been the heart of the Platt Park neighborhood for a long, long time. Izakawa Den is a beautiful addition to this row of well-established neighborhood hangouts. Owner Toshi Kazaki and Hiro and Company wanted a companion piece to their already wildly successful Sushi Den next door. The design by Ralph Shepard Architects and Another One Architects blends inspiration from Japanese culture and the open community atmosphere that we see all along Pearl Street. The result, built by Jordy Construction, is a new, visually striking building that's as unique as the food and culture it serves. It complements its sibling restaurant perfectly and feels right at home in one of Denver's oldest neighborhoods. Here to accept the award are Richard Will, Director of Operations with Hero and Company, architects Jeff Shepard and Adam Harding, and general contractor Sean Wardrobe. Come on down. there you are.
Well, on behalf of our owner, Toshi Kazaki, we thank you very much. We also would like to recognize the mayor and everyone within the city for recognizing Izakaya Den and its beautiful architecture, complementing its beautiful food and service. Certainly would like to thank Ross Shepard for all your great work, and of course, Jordan Construction is doing a marvelous job on a beautiful project. I know Toshi is a very proud person, pretty shy person, not come to something like this, but he's truly humbled. He and his brother, Yasu Kazaki, thank you very much. And we hope to see you sometime at one of our 3 restaurants. Arigato.
The next neighborhood gym is the perfect example of what happens when a community comes together to take ownership of their neighborhood. The Whittier Alley Loop is a project that was launched in response to an isolated hate crime and designed to celebrate the history, diversity, and culture of this unique area of Denver. Under the leadership of the Whittier Neighborhood Association, hundreds of participants came together for over a year of planning, dialogue, design, fundraising, and construction. The result is a series of painted pathways between Williams and Ray streets that feature public art, poetry, quotes from neighbors, and local history. The loop encourages neighbors to explore and learn about the community, and enhances the public space around the local branch library where the paths end. Whittier is a proud neighborhood, and this project shows it. Here to accept the award are Darrell Watson, president of the Whittier Neighborhood Association, along with Vice President Kent Simpson, project director Brian Coquette, and project designer Paul Goss.
So I brought a piece of paper because I want to make sure I don't miss any of the names. First and foremost, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Brad Buchanan, for this honor. We are truly honored. This has been an extraordinary project, an extremely emotional project as well. It demonstrates when a community comes together based on love and unity in the face of hatred, what we can accomplish. So we're very honored and a little bit emotional. I would like to thank our project manager, Brian Choquette, our project leaders, Ken Simpson, Levi Johnson, and also Brian Choquette, our designers, and Brian is all over this, Brian Choquette, Paul Goss, Ryan Sand, our construction manager, hopefully Malcolm Moroney is here. If Malcolm's here, can you please stand? Thank you, Malcolm Moroney. Our artists, Pedro Barrios, File Case, Dwayne Glapion, Jaime Molina, Uche Ohaya, Brew Pulford, Bob Ragland, Project Voice, student leaders, and Manual High School and Ford Warren Library staff. So all the members of the team, please stand if you're in the audience so everyone can see who you are. A special thank you to Denver Arts and Venues. This is an amazing collaboration, the inauguration of the Imagine 2020 plan, and so we really want to thank the Denver Arts and Venues staff for working with us for this amazing award. We want to thank all the neighbors within Whittier, and we want to invite you, all the folks who are here, to come to the Whittier neighborhood, 28th and Race, and enjoy and experience the Whittier Alley Loop. Thank you so much.
Our last neighborhood gym is another park activation project that could only have been done in a neighborhood that produced it. The Butterfly Walk is an effort by the La Alma Lincoln Park Neighborhood Association to encourage people to use their neighborhood park at 1100 Mariposa Street. It consists of a series of kiosks that tell the story of a neighborhood in English and in Spanish, side by side with the story of the monarch butterfly, La Mariposa. The butterfly is not just a link to Mariposa street's name, but an intentional comparison of its well-known migration to the diverse people who came into the neighborhood, and of course left their mark. The walk around the park culminates in the Butterfly Walk, a mural of hand-painted butterflies created by local artists and neighbors. Lahoma Lincoln Park Neighborhood Association organized the project and recruited neighbors and organizations to create and install the kiosks and the butterfly art. It is a project steeped in neighborhood pride and truly unique to this corner of Denver. Here to accept the award is Lahoma Lincoln Park Neighborhood Association President David Griggs.
Thank you, Mayor Brad. I also want to thank Denver Arts and Venues for making this project possible through a PSUR Here grant. This is the first year of those grants. Butterfly Walk seems like such a small, humble project next to some of these really marvelous structures, buildings, and projects that have been honored tonight. And I want to say that in spite of that, our size is reflected by the number of people involved. Hundreds of school kids, dozens of neighborhoods, neighborhood associations, RNOs, community volunteers. And it's all those hands touching this project that really touch the heart of the neighborhood and are building this community. So thank you again for this opportunity.
I think I skipped one, so we're going to go right back to Mestizo Curtis Park Playground. And I love this project. It is another project built on pride and neighborhood history. This playground is absolutely stunning at 3181 Champa Park. This neighborhood gym emerged from a partnership between the Five Points community and the Trust for Public Land. The goal was to bring families back to the park, and the vision was to do so in a way that honored the history of the neighborhood. The project was a success on both counts. Along with the Trust, Friends of Mestizo Curtis Park worked with Urban Play Studios, landscape structures, and neighborhood residents to design a playground dotted with references to community landmarks and history. Rocky Mountain Recreation did the building, and now the kids can have fun in the Rossonian Hotel and Dr. Justina Ford's office, and feel proud that there's no other playground just like it in the whole city. Here to accept the award are Emily Patterson of the Trust for Public Land, Gwendolyn Horton Harris, and Ethan Hackley. Come on down.
The Trust for Public Land is really honored to accept this award on behalf of all our amazing partners. This was truly a collaborative and community-led effort, and we have so many wonderful people to thank, including the folks on the stage here who literally helped us design this playground. We also had help from some professionals, as the mayor mentioned, Urban Play Studios, Landscape Structures, and I also want to thank Denver Parks and Recreation, and in particular Scott Gilmore, who's in the audience today, for all his support to make this project happen. This project truly reflects the heritage and history of Five Points, and as the mayor said, it's really reintroduced the community to Denver's first and oldest park. We would love for you to visit and experience this really awesome spot for yourself. Thank you.
All right, our next category, Distinctive Denver. And this is our final category for the night. This category is for any kind of project that sets itself apart through innovation, mission, whimsy, or simply because it just feels like Denver. If neighborhood gyms are the kind of projects that could only happen in their neighborhoods, Distinctive Denver are the kinds of projects that can only happen in Denver. And that's certainly true for our last two winners. The first is the Boathouse at 1850 Platt Street. This distinctive office building sits on an unusual pie-shaped lot surrounded by the Platte River Rowing Club building. Platt Street, the historic 19th Street pedestrian bridge, the South Platte River, and the Platte River Greenway. This unique combination of neighboring features presented an opportunity to create a building influenced and inspired by the river, with different elements to be admired from every side. Grand American Incorporated brought on Shears, Atkins, Rockmore architects to design a building that is worthy of and complementary of its neighbors. Built by Spectrum General Contractors, the project makes an already dynamic landscape even more so. Let's welcome to the stage Dean Smith of Shears, Atkins, Rockmore Architects, and from Grand American, Chairman Elle, I want to make sure I try to say this right, Erringer, and Asset Manager Ellen Walensky.
Good evening. I've been active in the Denver area for over 50 years, but this is not my home. My home is in California, and I do business in California, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada. I'd like to tell you something about this city. Everywhere else I go in the western United States, it's adversarial. In Denver, they help. It's collegial. They will build great things for great people. This is the greatest city in the world for building and developing and going into the future.
We got that on camera.
It's not bad for being off script. There's a whole team that makes even a modest project like this possible. Brian Doyle from Spectrum General Contractors is here tonight, and they were one of the first ones to point out to us that there's actually no back to this building, and as it turns out, that makes it really hard to build the building when you face the river and the street and a historic bridge, but they did a great job of pulling it together. Tucker Johnson from our office was really the lead architect on this and had a lot to do with it. The success of this project really started with the support of Councilwoman Judy Montoya and the rezone that was required to even make this project possible. And the value of being on this site, and I think a big part of the success of the project also, is the quality of our river and the Greenway. And Jeff Shoemaker and the entire Greenway Foundation, I think, need to be applauded for their support of our entire river. And there's a lot of great projects that are happening along the river. This is just one of them, but they're doing a lot, I think, to improve the city. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, we've come to our last winner of the night, and it's a great one to end on. You can't have lived in Denver the last few years and not seen the spectacular redevelopment in lower downtown that happened in and around historic Union Station. Plenty has been said about the game-changing private-public partnership behind the station itself. Tonight, we honor the equally game-changing product of the private investment that resulted in the beautiful buildings to the north and south of the station. Now owned by GLL Real Estate Partners Incorporated, the buildings are the vision of Anderson Mason Dale Architects in association with Simple Brown Design and master developer Union Station Neighborhood Company. The north wing sits at 1705 17th Street and the south wing at 1615 Winecoop Street. Together, they frame the entryway into our city that the station represents. They are modern, but inspired by the historic station and the rest Lower Downtown Historic District. They are outstanding in their own right, but with a design intended to give Union Station room to shine. In the words of one of the committee members, they are two of the best buildings Denver has ever seen. Other key members of the project team include Rob Cohen, IMA Financial Group, Ed Hazelden, Hazelden Construction for the North Building, and Mark Smith and Chris Frampton, East-West Partners, and Kiewit Building Group for the South Building. There were a lot of different parties involved, from developers, designers, and builders to numerous community stakeholders, as well as the Denver Landmark Commission. The result is something all residents of the city can feel very proud of. And I got to tell you, we are very proud of Union Station. And here to accept the award tonight are Andy Nilsson of Anderson Mason Dale, Rob Cohen of IMA Financial Group, Chris Frampton of East West Partners, and Eric Wham of GLL Partners. Come on down.
Thank you, Mayor Hancock and Brad, really appreciate it. Does anybody out there in the audience miss the parking next to Union Station? I know it was back in the day a really controversial issue that we couldn't give up that parking for buildings, but I think it took some vision from people like East-West Partners and the Union Station Neighborhood Company to actually say that space would benefit with more density. So Ryan Stone's here representing East-West, and I think that's a great aspect of it. But the other thing that this project had was some risk takers that came into the project in 2009. There wasn't a whole lot going on. We don't have too many 2009 project numbers in our office. And Rob Cohen and Ed Hazelden, East-West Partners, stepped up to the table and said, we're going to take a risk on what we think is a great idea, and it transformed the city. But it also took great leaders. Jim McGibney's here, a key person that's ready to roll up his sleeves and dive into these tough problems involving a lot of different folks. The Landmarks Commission, Dennis Humphreys was a great collaborator, Semple Brown, another great collaborator as well. And we have a terrific team from Anderson Mason Dale and Semple Brown that participated as well. But thank you all very much for the award, and it feels great to be here. Thanks.
All right, once again, let's give a round of applause to all of our honorees tonight. We not only want to congratulate you, but we want to thank you for what you do for our great city. I got to tell you, this concludes one of my favorite nights of the year, where we get to honor these great designs. It's also one of the most challenging nights. Brad, I got to tell you, this is a hard thing to do, to stand up here and read all these names and projects and things of this nature. But it's always an honor to do this. So we want to encourage you to stay for the reception if you like. But more importantly, we want to thank you for what you do and encourage you to keep creating great things for our city. We stand on your shoulders. Thank you all.